Santa Fe Springs shows armed ICE agents dressed in tactical gear swarming this swap meet. Agents appear to be accompanied by say they seem to randomly go through the crowd asking questions, being taken into custody as witnesses record video.
Iran launched retaliatory missile and drone strikes into Israel this morning following Israel's attack on Iran's nuclear program.
In the initial attack, Israel's defense minister is warning that Tehran will continues to fire missiles toward
Iran, as you said, Doug, is warning it could take aim at U.S. military bases and ships if
a military-industrial facility in the Moscow region of Russia. The cause of these shocking explosions was not any kind of malfunction at the facility, but rather drone attacks. In other words, Ukrainian forces had once again targeted Moscow. This is happening in Moscow, the capital that Russian President Vladimir Putin has been unable to protect. Ukraine attacked this facility in Moscow. When news broke that drones had attacked the Resonit production facility in the Moscow region, it caused a huge shock. The Ukrainian General Staff confirmed that the airstrike on Resonit was successful.
In a striking display of political theater and infrastructural malaise, U.S. President Donald Trump reignited a long-simmering national controversy by flatly refusing to allocate further federal funding to California's embankment. Came on May 6, 2025, during a White House press briefing alongside Canadian Prime Minister Carney. Spiraling costs, repeated delays, and what he described as one of the worst investments in American history. But this wasn't just another political jab. Trump's comment struck a nerve in California, where Governor Gavin Newsom responded with palpable frustration. With over 50 major structural elements already completed, Newsom warned that abandoning the project now would not only waste billions of dollars already spent but also destroy years of planning, environmental assessments, and public engagement. Then came the real shocker. If the federal government won't help, he said, California is prepared to turn to China to finish the job.
1948, and the British are pulling their troops out of this region here, land they've controlled for decades at this point. But these Arab nations here are not happy because the British are leaving the land in the hands of a people who they believe have no right to govern it, the Jews. And these Jews are traveling from all over the world to live here. They're claiming this territory for themselves, despite what their new neighbors think. So Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, and Jordan all attack. But then something happens that no one could have predicted. The Jews survived the attack and established for the first time in almost 2,000 years the modern state of Israel. And many conflicts later, they're still around today. But here's what's strange about this whole thing. There were people who predicted this regathering of the Jewish people to this region years before it ever seemed even remotely possible. This is because these people believed in a Bible prophecy found in the book of Ezekiel, which states that the Jews would be scattered from this land to the ends of the earth and then regathered back into this land after many years of persecution. And it would all happen during what the Bible calls the last days, right before the end of the world. But this Ezekiel chapter 36 and 37 predicted the Jews being regathered to this land from all the nations. That's what you just saw on the map. But chapter 38 predicts 5 nations who will attack the reborn state of Israel in the future. This is a huge battle predicted to happen after the Jews have returned to this land. That the Jews will cultivate this land and produce so much wealth that 5 specific nations that Ezekiel names in chapter 38 will try to take the land for themselves. You're going to be shocked when you hear who these 5 nations are, because they're in the... But you're going to be even more shocked when you hear about the aftermath of this battle against Israel. Let's just say, A, it aligns perfectly with the development of modern weaponry. Let's go through verse 1. Now the word of the Lord came to me saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog. This word Gog is a title that just means leader, similar to king or president. And he's the leader of the land of Magog. Magog was a large region north of Israel. We call this area Russia today, which means Gog is a reference to the leader of this region, to saying that Putin is Gog. But I am saying that if this Ezekiel 38 battle were to happen today, then Putin would certainly fit the description of Gog. Now watch what God says happens to Russia's leader. I will turn you around, put hooks into your jaws, and lead you out with all your army. It appears that the leader of Russia is going to be somehow provoked or forced to join a war he doesn't want to be a part of. Is involved in the Middle East crisis surrounding Israel. Just over the last decade, they've strengthened their ties with Israel's arch enemy, Iran, which lists Iran as the first of 4 nations that join Russia in this future battle against Israel. The Bible refers to Iran as Persia, the ancient name of Iran that had been used until relatively recently. Iran has supported anti-Israel terrorist groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah, and have even attacked Israel with their own missiles. But what's crazy is that Iran and Russia have not only signed a peace treaty with each other, but have even been training their militaries together. Time when the Jews were living as slaves in Babylon, and Persia and Magog were at war.
Hey guys, all I want to say is just stay woke, get right with God, repent, and just pay attention what's going on in the world.